are some of the key learning points that, maybe because you studied in CIA, when you came back, you had a certain vision in your head, but maybe you introduced a new product that didn't do well in the Indian market. So, what would you say? How have you evolved throughout your journey? Like maybe this was Aanchal Sapra 7 years ago. This is how she would do things, but now how does she do things now after all the things that she's been through?
I was when I came back from the CIA, I was very one-minded on no, I'm not going to do eggless desserts. I'm only going to do egg-based things because that's where the taste is, and that was a big learning curve and challenge for me because a lot of people would call us, y'all don't do eggless, okay, bye. And that's where I realized that I'm losing a lot of business. And so getting onto the eggless bandwagon took me a while, but I had to get onto that if I wanted to keep my business afloat. So that was one of the things that was definitely a learning curve for me. I would say the second was challenging was getting the same quality of ingredients. Initially, it was, now things are a lot more easily available, but at that point, it was a little challenging in terms of how you're going to source these ingredients. And then there was the learning curve with the market, because people still come to me and they're like, why are you charging 1200 rupees for half a kg of cheesecake? And that's when you have to explain you're using Philadelphia cream cheese, which is expensive, and so you need to charge for that. So there is still a learning curve with the market. There's a part of society that doesn't want to spend as much because they can get it cheaper elsewhere. And educating the crowd on price points is also something that took a while for us to establish as a brand. We did a lot of free sampling because once you get the taste, you'll understand the difference. So that was something that also we had to do to be able to sustain and get our word out there. So yeah, those were a couple of learning curves and learning balls that came our way. So there's two things in terms of what I love about the industries. We love to hop on every new trend, whether it be piñata cakes, pull me up cakes, now the bomb cake. So I think that's really interesting. It challenges you in terms of understanding what you can do new and bring new to the table. So that's very nice to get on to the ever evolving industry and being a part of it. Key things that we focus on is quality. I would not send out anything that is not up to the mark. I rather throw it away and redo it rather
This
than.
reminds me, sorry to interrupt, something that's written in your kitchen.
Yes.
Do it right or do it
Do
twice.
it twice.
Yes.
That's on the walls in our kitchen because we live by it. Do it right or do it twice. That's definitely something that I believe in. That you need to maintain that quality and that standard. And the other thing that I like to do is customize according to my clients' budget, especially when we do corporate orders and we do hampers and we do Diwali. I don't say, okay, I have a set hamper, this is 500, you want it, take it or leave it. What we try and do is, okay, you have a budget of 700 rupees, let's see what I can give you max in 700. So our customization is also something that we really, really work towards, which not a lot of people do right now.
If I wanted to start from scratch in the kitchen, or let's say if I wanted to do exactly what you're doing but with a twist of my own, what advice would you give to me or all those other budding bakers out there? Like, where do you start? People who have absolutely no idea how to get started and to get to the point where you are. How do they go about it?
I think the key thing would be never stop learning. Pick up a book, pick up a class, do a course online. There's so many of them available right now. Educate yourself and keep learning. Never stop learning because you might think you know it all and that's going to be the end of your business even before you start. So educate yourself because only once you know things is when you can make them well enough, and that's when you can start selling them. Be sure of owning your product and knowing exactly what it should look like and what it should taste like before you try and sell it to somebody else. So I think that would be the key aspect on educating yourself.
I think you're giving yourself very less credit. Might I add that you are a very good salesperson. Not only that, you have utilized all your network, all your connections very well. And some people have a lot of connections, but they don't utilize it or they overutilize it and all they can talk about is business. But I think you've really maintained a good balance, also providing value. And your attention to detail, not just when it comes to the products, but also to, let's say, the paper that is being used or the cardboard that is being used. Like everything is just is just.
It's all about जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. So you need to not only make
But
sure
जो
product
अंदर भी
is
है वो
good.
भी अच्छा है.
Yes,
Yeah.
you need to make sure product is good, but you need to make sure it's packaged well. It's presented well enough, and once you can handle that aspect of it as well, where packaging is taken care of and it looks pretty as much as tying a beautiful ribbon on top of your box to that detail. I think there's a lot that you can get because of that as well. Like I know during lockdown people have just seen my cake box, and because they like the cake box they've ordered cakes from me. So there's definitely an entire aspect of packaging that I would say you need to focus on, but the most important is your product.